Wow, Hugh, this is stunning.
Smashing.
So where have you brought me?
Well, this is Wimborne and District Angler Society's Pinnock Lakes.
It's beautiful.
And there's 2 lakes. This first one, which is a more a mixed fishery, and then a smaller lake up the top, which is a specialist tench and crucian lake, which was made possible by the Angling Development Fund. So,
superb.
Thanks to the Angling Trust.
Brilliant. Well, I'm glad we're having an impact.
Yeah.
And looking at this, I get an idea of what we might be fishing for, but tell me what we like to catch today.
Ooh, if we're lucky, tench.
Oh, let's hope so.
Tench, magic tench, and there's small carp in this lake and some bigger ones up to 20-pound ghosty. There's bream and lots of roach, which are nuisance fish in this case.
Roach are never a nuisance fish.
No, absolutely not.
A little bit of bubble in there.
Yeah, it's lovely, isn't it? Yeah. Right, I've got fish in the swim. There we go.
Look at you, you're flying away. I haven't even shot in my float properly yet. There we go.
A tinker. Oh.
This is like being kids again.
Yeah, I love fishing with friends. That's one of the magic aspects of angling, I think is. Yeah, whoa. Get up the waves, yeah.
That's a little scaly one.
Lovely. Oh yeah, there's some lovely fully scaled mirrors here. Bonny eye fish. Gillies ready. Beautiful. A future 20-pounder.
Look at that, Hugh.
Beautiful.
Stunning
What
fish,
a
aren't
lovely,
they?
lovely specimen.
So Hugh, how did you start fishing?
Was a young child, my granddad was mad keen on fly fishing, and he gave me an old split cane fly rod and a funny little brass reel. And near their house there's a little stream and it runs under the A25. So I crept under there with a worm and hooked a little 6-inch trout, and I've never forgotten it. Those wonderful red spots on it, absolute jewel. I was made up, and I was made a fisherman on that moment, so that was my first fish.
How did you get from that first, catching that first fish?
I went away to school, to Ely Cathedral. I won a choral scholarship for Ely Cathedral Choir.
Oh, did you?
So at 8.5, I was sent away to school. Anyway, the first kids, we always used to sit on the wall. And there were loads of gudgeon and perch and little fish we'd all catch. But there was a weed bed. It was meant to be a cartwheel, but actually it was a weed bed, sunken lily. And I cast out there with a lump of flake and caught a roach, a good 10 inches, which was a monster for us then. And that was it. I was a roach angler for life. No escape.
Yeah.
Oh, come out. Yeah, little tinker. Wonderful. I do love tinkers. Smashing little baby one. And what was your first fish?
That was a tench.
Wonderful. That's truly remarkable, because most people can't claim they've caught a tench as their first fish. Going to grow on to be a 5-pounder. Nice one. Jamie.
Hi, Chris. This is a familiar sight. Yes, please.
Cup of tea?
Sounds superb. How are you?
I'm well. Just been enjoying watching some fish cruising about. How are you doing?
Yeah, well, I've myself and Mr. Hugh Miles have been catching some tench, so very happy.
I can't believe it.
What, Hugh catching tench? Or,
Catching tench? I mean, normally it has to be pouring with rain and everyone else has given up, and he likes to sort of then set himself up and then catch a tench.
Well, you touch on giving up, Chris, and we're sitting here without a rod. Talk to us about that.
I mean, I'll always haunt places like this because so much of my life has been connected to these places, and I still value them very highly, and I love to see the fish, and there's every chance that I'll come back to it. You know, I think probably more likely I'm going to fall in love with a little river. Every time I see a small river that I don't is maybe strange to me, but there's no strange small rivers if it's looked after, and I'll probably fall in love with it, and I'll have to get the rod out again. And so yes, I'm having a temporary kind of withdrawal. So a sabbatical, so I can concentrate on the thing that has really kind of inflamed me these last 10 years. Everything in my life since I was a small child, it was all about connection to the landscape. I didn't feel really at home anywhere unless I could connect to the landscape. Yeah. And to do that, you need an ally. And my first ally was a lizard. And as soon as I'd seen it, it's like a jewel, you know, and they move like sort of quicksilver and they disappear into the heather. And I thought, what was that? It's so exotic. And it was it went not even half a mile. It was sort of 100 yards from the house where I was brought up. For years, I was obsessed by lizards, and then that led to snakes, grass snakes in particular, gorgeous things. And then I started to look deeper into my village pond, and then I saw a carp. And that was it. Till about 10 years ago. And I'd always been interested in birds, but with everything I saw, I wanted to know a bit more about it. I wanted to see what was the behaviour, what were they looking for. But birds in particular, because birds are so similar to fish. You know, they fly through the woods like fish fly through the stems of lily beds. And so it was the same action, but sometimes even more graceful. And then one day I was walking back, not far from here, and something flew by late in the evening. I've been watching short-eared owls, and this thing wasn't a short-eared owl. It went by me. And it was just a dim silhouette. It was really a ghost. And I thought, what the hell is that? And I couldn't, I had never knowingly seen a hen harrier, but that was a hen harrier. And I thought, it has to be probably the most graceful flyer. They just skim over the grass, and they have real kind of alter and constantly readjusting their wings and everything. This harrier could outdo them all, you know, and I just wanted to know more, and now I'm totally obsessed.
I often get asked about membership, Hugh, and people point to the RSPB having 1 million members. And one of the Fish Legal volunteers always says, because he's been a member of the RSPB since the 70s, I think, he said it didn't always have 1 million members. Is that it started as a very small organisation, and what it built up an interest and a feeling of communities in getting involved with their local spaces, that they could actually make a difference for birds, which they could see.
I ran their film unit for 5 years, and it was just 250,000 members then. And the films we made, 4 films a year, and the premiere would be at the festival hall twice, so that's 5,000 people watching the films, and then they'd be taken on tour.
And you see that growth has come because people understand it and they see how they can be part of it, or they can get involved, and whether they're an avid bird watcher or not. And we've got the same with the angling community, as the work that we do. If you take, for example, the water quality monitoring network that we've launched in the last 18 months or so.
Yes, our club have just signed up for that.
Fantastic.
Taking measurements, really
it's a phenomenal success, and it's been picked up by lots of the national media. And it's anglers taking a practical route in their own local communities to understand their ecosystems and work out what we can do better. And we're going to be bringing forward a couple of initiatives that will really help them take that next step to put pressure on authorities and local authorities and national authorities to give better protection to our waterways. That wouldn't happen without that volunteer network of anglers across the country.
Getting the information.
Yes, that's a better one.
Hey. Magic.
Well done.
Oh, there's the raven. Because that's magic as well, and you're catching tench. There's wildlife, a raven flying over, and you've got a wonderful setting like this of nature all around you. And fishing enables you to get so close to nature. And if, like now, you get lucky, you actually get to touch it.
Carp are what you've had that lifelong passion for, but have there ever been different species that have overtaken carp for periods in your life?
Definitely. Right at the beginning, when my carp pond, which had good population of wild carp, but it froze up during the 62, 63
Great
ice
frost.
age. Yeah, the great freeze. And when the ice melted, the carp just floated to the side. Everything. It just destroyed everything. And I had a bicycle, but I couldn't get to anywhere else that had carp. So I had to start looking around, and I went down to the River Mole, which is my nearest river. Yeah. And so for about 5 years, I became hooked on chub, and they were my saviour. They were almost the same basic shape as a wild carp, but I could use slugs and worms and things like, which I never really used. I would always use bread flake for the carp. But of course I did find a pond, and I did found another pond, and then I got a little motorbike, and I started to go around the country looking at these little blue dots on the Ordnance Survey maps, and that was a fascinating and again magical time, because that little blue dot that revealed something, it was almost like you're looking at a carp swim. Oh my God, look at it, look at that valley, look at that stream, look at that wood. And so the picture began to sort of form as I looked at the map. And I'd get on my bike, and it would be maybe 20 miles away down a maze of lanes, and I'd be sniffing, where's the water, where does this go? There's the stream, follow the stream. And sometimes I'd go the wrong way. It was the outfall I was following, but then I go back up again, and then you come to this little dam, and it was maybe a pool of 2 acres, completely overgrown, and lily pads, and then you see a lily pad twitching, like, I'm in heaven. So I found a lot of ponds like that, and so my world was restored, and went back to carp fishing for the next maybe 50 years.
Oh, there we go.
Oh.
There's a carp. I thought it might be from the first charge.
Took off. Your gilly is ready for you, sir.
Thank you. There we
go.
go.
Lovely. Common carp. They are beautiful. Let them go back, shall we?
Yeah. Well, sorry about that. You promised me we were tench fishing, and I've already caught.
Oh, well.
From a personal perspective, I just want to say thank you, Hugh, because you've portrayed angling in a way and to an audience that no one else could. And you've inspired generations of people to want to understand about fish and catch fish and enjoy the aquatic environment and everything else that lives around it. So from a personal perspective, a huge thank you, because you've inspired more than one generation, that's for sure.
Well, thank you. Well, of course, it's team effort, as all filmmaking is, and Chris and Bob worked so hard on Passion for Angling, and then in turn Martin Bowler on Catching the Impossible. So it was a joy to try and make a contribution to our love of angling, and what we tried to do is capture the excitement of angling, which is wonderful. It's such a great escape from reality, and it just takes you so close to nature.
You use that line, I think, in one of the programmes, it's an excuse for being there. I think that's quite apt.
Yeah, and the secret is, one of the lines from Passion for Angling is, it's not a question of how to catch, it's a question of how to enjoy.
Yeah.
And it's so true.
As you look forward, and you've spoken a bit about the past and what's driven you over these years, are there things in the future that give you hope, or are there things that really concern you in the future of our pastime and the environment that we cherish?
Certainly, I've concerns that I think we all share, that the world is changing, and if we don't begin to at least grapple with the subject properly, seriously, we're all going to be in trouble. So that concerns me. But there's something that lifts me, and that a lot of young people particularly, they all have this positive attitude about nature in particular, and they know that that's where they can find their peace. This is why fishing was always so good, because you learn to wait, and while you wait, you learn all sorts of things. And this is what the youngsters, I think, are good at. They're very good at sort of understanding what nature means. They have a positive attitude. They're good at what they do. With the positivity, there's a reality. There's a kind of sense that they know the dangers, they know the seriousness of the various situations. They're our hope for the future. Nice tench. I'm a life member of the Angling Trust, and if you care about fish like this, and water, the water of these ponds and rivers and lakes and even the sea, if you really care, you'll join the Trust and help them to protect the places that we love best. And off you go, Mr. Tench.